All right. So, I was thinking about doing a story time. So, in this story time, shit. This was when I was still going to the club. I was still living in the Bay Area. Um, I was with my best friend, and shit, it was a cold ass night. Anybody that knows the Bay, there was a club that was down the street from Mingles. So Mingles is in Jack London Square, and that's where we did the Blow the Whistle video. But if you go from Mingles and then go down a little bit, on the right hand side there was this little club that used to sit off the water, and so that club was like, it was okay. It wasn't like, you know, really super popping back then. I think it was like dying down because we used to go to that thing. It used to be popping for real, but you know, it just wasn't all that. So anyway, we drove down to the club. Well, I drove, and I had this little red stick, little two-seater at the time. So I drive down there, and mind you, it was cracking. I didn't even think it was gonna be cracking like that, but it was like hella cars on this like one street. So when you're going away from the club, it was just like the streets, and it was packed. So I had to park like really far. So as I'm going, after I parked, I told her, I said, let's go ahead, get our little, little money together, ID together, because I didn't want to carry anything. I don't like being in a town and just having like a purse or whatever. So we always put our little shit out. So I go ahead, we do all that. Well, we go ahead and we do all that. And so we're walking down from the club, down from the car, going towards the club, and it was these two dudes sitting on right before you go into the club. They were sitting in the like center section, and they was like, man, what's up with you? What's up? Y'all going in? We was like, yeah, we going in. They was like, yeah, y'all looking good, everything cool. Why don't you come talk to us, I said, well, if you're around, whatever, I might talk to you later if you go inside. So I wasn't even thinking nothing of it, you know what I mean? So the dude was like, it was a black dude, and he was really tall, and then it was like this short Mexican dude. And I'm looking like, that's a weird little, like, kick it partners, you know what I'm saying? So it in the Bay, it ain't like what they think, that blacks and Mexicans don't get along, and it wasn't nowhere near like that. We are so diverse in the Bay. It wasn't nothing to me, but the way that the black dude looked and the way that the Mexican dude looked, it just looked weird. I don't know how to describe it. It just looked weird. Something was off. So anyway, I pushed away from them and whatever, and then so we walk inside the club and everything. Club was just yanking that night too. It was hella cool. And at this time, matter of fact, on the what the DJ was playing was "Step in the Name of Love" by R. Kelly. That was just popping at this time. So that's how far back it go. So we grooving and shit, and the party was, like I said, it was yanking or whatever. And so we were about to be on the way out. And so we're leaving, but I was like, girl, let's go on ahead and hurry up and get get to the car before everybody leave, because it's gonna be hard getting out the parking lot. But we was like, all right, we're gonna go in a second, but we still was dancing. The DJ was fire that night, and then we was drinking. So we ended up leaving, and so when we got out, them same dudes was sitting in that same spot. And it was like, oh, okay, y'all, I see y'all. Now, like, back in the day, I dance. My partner, she used to dance. We used to choreograph, all that stuff. So I'm sweating, she's sweating, you know what I'm saying? That's when I'm dancing, you know what I mean? So, so the dudes was like, hey, what's up with you? And I was like, nothing much, you know. I was like, you know, I'm tired and shit, and I'm just ready to go. And, you know, they trying to holler and shit. And we was like, no, we good, you know. You know, we'll talk to you later, thanks, you know, but let's keep pushing. So they're still sitting there, chilling, whatever. And there's a couple people leaving, but remember, I had parked so damn far that we had to walk up, like, I want to say like 2 blocks. So we're walking, and then all of a sudden I'm hearing footsteps coming up behind me hella fucking fast. And I was like, oh fuck. I don't know what's about to, oh shit, I don't know what's going on. So we hear the footsteps coming up behind us, and the black dude was like, man, what's up with y'all? And we was like, what? So then he jumps in front of us, him and the Mexican dude, well, no, the black dude jumps in front of us, because she was walking on the side of me. So he jumps in front of us, and the black dude had a gun to her back, well, to my back. He had a gun to her face, and he was like, give me y'all money. And I'm like, fuck, you know. Now, anybody know me, shit like that pisses me off. It's not a good thing. I don't know if I use me being scared, it's getting angry. When I thought about it after it happened, I shouldn't have reacted the way I did, but shit, it happened. I'm glad I'm still here, because it could have went really bad, but it was bad enough. So so he was like, give me your money, da 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 da. I was like, we don't even really have nothing, you know what I'm saying? And I had something in my sock, because that was the thing, we was wearing boots at night, and I put my shit in my sock. And I was like, I don't even have nothing but my ID. So I went ahead and pulled, you know, I was like, this is all I had. I actually had my ID. Yeah, that was it, my ID, because I think the outfit I had on that day was really low cut, so shit, I didn't have nothing. So the Mexican dude comes around to the front, and he got a gun to my chest. And so now he's using the gun, like, trying to move my shirt to look and shit like that. And I'm just sitting up there getting hella mad. And I'm like, why the fuck is you fucking with us? I just told you we ain't got nothing. So what's the point of you even fucking with us? So my best friend, she's getting really scared and shit. And she's like breathing really heavy, and I'm telling her to calm down, it's cool, you know. I'm like, we ain't got shit, you know, let us go on ahead and leave. So I think I had my key. I had took the key off, and I had that shit in my shoe. That's what it was. So I was trying to figure out what my key was. So she was like, yeah, she getting scared and shit. She was like, yeah, I got some money on me. And he was like, yeah, see, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. And I said, man, you need to leave her the fuck alone and get the fuck up out of our face. And he was like, man. And so he went like this with the gun in his hand, the black dude. And the Mexican dude was like, nah, chill. You don't even need to go there. Let's see what she got. She's like, hey, you know, I got some money on me. And I'm kind of like, no, fuck them, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got shit. And she was like, no, I got some money on me, and da-da-da-da-da-da. So he was like, well, why y'all lying and shit, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, not lying, we ain't got no real money, you know what I'm saying? We just left the club. You seen us go up in there. So of course we done bought drinks, you know, whatever. So, and we had to get in. So I don't know what money you think we gonna have at the end of the night. So anyway, she had a dub, and it was in her like bra strap up here. So she gave it to a boy, and so the Mexican dude was watching me the whole time. He's just like in my face, like with the gun on my chest. And the black dude had a gun on her chest. And so he was like, yeah, thank y'all for the donation, whatever. So then they start walking in and they run across the street. Now they were on their way to Mingles, I believe. No, actually, it was this other club that we had on the opposite side of Mingles. It was like a little kind of hole in the wall little spot. It wasn't on Broadway because that was way down. It was like this one little hall or area that they always used to have like comedy shows or fashion shows or something like that. And I think they was having like a little event, and I was like hella mad and everything like that. So I see where they run into, and I'm like, do I want to call the police or what do I want to do? And so I ended up having my hammer in the car, so it was in my trunk. So I went ahead and I got my sock out of my boot and I grabbed my shit, and I was actually about to run and follow them. I used to run track back in the day, so I still had wheels back then. So I was pissed the fuck off, and I was about to just go on ahead and let it be. You know what I'm saying? Let me do my thing. But my best friend was like, nah, we can't. Don't do that. Don't stoop to their level. Just don't do it. At this time, I was in school to be a police officer. I used to want to be a homicide investigator. So she was like, don't do it because you're gonna mess everything up off of them too. She was like, I just want to go home. And I was like, all right, cool. So I go ahead, I get in the car or whatever, and I'm driving and I'm taking her home. She's still like, now my nervousness is starting to get in play, because now I'm like really just realized what the fuck just happened and what I almost did. So I go ahead and I take her home. Well, no. Matter of fact, I think that night she stayed at my house because she lived kind of far. She lived in Pittsburgh, and it was, a whole lot of shit happened. But she ended up calling her mom and told her mom what just happened. And then I told my dad once I got home. And at first I wasn't going to tell him what I was about to do, but she told him. So she was like, oh yeah, but I talked her out of it and whatever. So like I said, mind you, I was in school to be a police officer, so I already had my gun at the time. I had already been shooting and stuff. So he was just like, I don't know if you should continue to carry it with y'all going out, or if you should not take it with you. And he was like, it's like a catch-22, I'm in the town, you know what I'm saying? Anything can happen just like it did. But then at the same time, the way my anger is set up, it can go both ways. So he was like, well, let me think about it. Give me your gun for right now, and let me think about what I want to do. So we decided we wasn't gonna go out for a minute. We calmed down for probably like 3 or 4 months of going out. I rarely used to go to Oakland. I went to Domingos and I went to On Broadway was my spot. But this was when On Broadway wasn't popping anymore because of the little liquor license thing. So that's why we started going down there. I know if my other partner would have been there with me, it would have been all bad. It have went down that night. It have went down. So, so as I'm driving to the house, I forgot about this. So as I'm driving to the house, I called one of my partners in Richmond, and I'm like, man, this is what happened. It was some niggas in front of the little club by Mingles. He was like, for real? And I said, yeah, and they pulled their guns on me, me and my partner. And then he was like, okay, well, what did they look like? And I told him it was a tall, black dude with a short Mexican dude. I said, it was a weird little combo. He said, that dude sound hella weird. And I said, they both wasn't from Oakland. One of them was like from EPA, and then the other one was from Frisco. So he was like, oh, okay. And then he was like, do you remember what they had on? And I told him or whatever, and I told him what they kind of looked like. And he was like, all right, cool. Anyway, so I tell my partner all the details or whatever, and he was like, all right, cool. He was like, I'm going to slide through there next weekend and see if the niggas is there. And I was like, all right. He was like, you gonna go? And I was like, no, I ain't gonna go. He was like, okay, well, I'll just have me and my partners go down there. So come the weekend, he get down there to the same damn club, and the dudes are sitting in the same damn spot. So he called me up. He's like, Callie, he's like, you said it was a tall black dude and a short Mexican, right? And I said, yeah. I said, they should be sitting. They were sitting on the circle thing right before the entrance. He said, they right here again. And ain't even tripping. You know what I'm saying? He said, they over here scoping out all the females going in and out, trying to holler at them. The other thing was, you could tell they wasn't going inside because they had like a, they didn't look homeless, but they had like a dirty look to them. Like, you wouldn't have got into the club. You might have got into Mingos at this time, because Mingos used to let you wear tennis shoes and jeans and t-shirts and shit, but barely. If they would have knew somebody, they could get in, just put it like that. But they wasn't popping to get into the club that we was going into. So, so he said, well, do you want to know what happens? And I was like, nah, I don't even want to know. Don't even tell me. He was like, all right. So he was like, oh, we gonna take care of this, go. And I was like, go. So the next morning, I called him just to make sure he was all right. He was like, yeah. He was like, it was a very interesting night. And he was like, I watched them the whole time, talking to females, and they was about to do the same shit again. And so he said that they were walking, and the girls were, the way the parking lot was set up, these girls was going like to the right, and right in that area is a lot of little bushes because it's over there by the water. So it's a lot of little bushes. And then he said, so we seen them going over there. We knew what was about to happen. So we got him. Got them both. I was like, all right, bet. So that ended up happening. I didn't ask no questions. I didn't want to know. My partner, though, now he's passed away from some other shit that he didn't got himself into. But, you know, that's how that fucking story go. So anyway, he took care of the shit. I didn't expect it to go like that, but I called to make sure that he was good. And, yeah. I don't know what happened to the dudes. I have no clue. So, but my partner, he had passed away for some other little shit that he got himself into. He was from Richmond, whatever. So, it is what it is. So what I would say with this whole little situation, you know, I'm glad I did not react the way that I was about to. I'm a hothead, still am. But then, oh yeah, I was a serious ass hothead. And I was very overprotective of my best friend. Cause she wasn't with the shit. She'd tell you that all day. She wasn't with the shit. I used to fight a lot. I got some more stories for y'all too, but I used to fight a lot with my other partner from Richmond. So, I just really was overprotective of her, and I didn't want nothing to happen to her. I wasn't even thinking about myself at the time. I was just like, you got her scared, I'm good. And it was funny is she's tall. She was taller than me and older than me, but I was way more protective of her. So, you know, I'm glad that I was able to have someone to talk me out of what could have happened. My dad ended up giving me my gun back because he was like, you know, I go out, and he didn't know I was fighting like that. So he didn't know about that shit till later when I told him. But he was like, being in a town, always in a town, drinking and all that other shit. He was like, I'm gonna need it, obviously I'm gonna need it. And I'm always in the West, you know what I'm saying? So, my cousins stayed in the West, so I was always up that way. So, but with that being said, if you have, ladies, fellas, if you have your shit with you, make sure you do know how to shoot, because anything can happen when people get to spraying and can't aim and all that. Make sure if you do have your gun, get your license if you can. I mean, your certifications, get your little training, because, each gun handles different. That was, at the time, I had a SIG P239, like a police issue type. And so I was used to it, shooting it and everything. And, just to be on the safe side, anytime you have a situation, try to think it out the best that you can. And just so y'all know, my best friend had passed away a couple years ago, and this is to her, rest in peace. See y'all.